I had a story in my heart, but I didn't know where to start. Every sentence felt wrong, every draft fell apart. Sat staring at the page like it owed me something, but the words stayed quiet and the fear kept thumping.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Sudowrite Masterclass, One Story, Many Readers. Master your voice, the tone, the audience across all age. During one small idea into children, middle grade, and young adult, and for adult fiction. I think it's one of my old slides because we're going to work on the short story version. And we're going to show the difference between children, middle grade, teen and young adult, and adult. Okay. Now, what you'll walk away with. A sharper story. Why a story is one focused moment, not a shrunk novel. So a small story for children and a novel, it's not like you take a small story and no, actually that's true. You can take a small story and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. But taking a bigger story and try to shrink it and make it a kid story, it's a bit different. So it's this part here is pretty much, it's right. It's very hard to shrink your novel into a short story, but it's doable with a lot of twists in it. I'm doing it with story which are between 7 and 14,000 words, and I shrink them up to between 4 to 6,000 words about. But it's for children or middle grade school, so I don't think for adult it might work. It would be a big twist of manipulation to do so. The right reader, how children, middle grade, young adult, and adult reader each need a different experience. That make a lot of sense on that one. And the 5 audience level, the voice, the vocabulary, the pacing, the emotion, depth, and the theme, tune on purpose. So a Sudowrite workflow. And this is what I bring you in today, to the Sudowrite workflow. So here's a bit of difference. What I'm going to do, I'm going to also share my notes. So I have notes for you so you can go and share. Copy the link. Done. I will put it inside the chat. So once new people shows up, you can share with them too. That has the information on today's session. So you have the slideshow, the PDF with a cheat sheet for you, and the notes we're going to work on. All right. So let's see here, because I have a lot of things in front of my window. I'm going to close down the participant. And the chat, I'm giving you, Jeff, the chat. I'm closing down the chat. All right, so the novel, the difference between the novel and the short story. So the novel has many plot and character, a big world building, long branching arcs, and room to wander. When you get to a short story, normally you get very little character, so 1, 2, or 3, one pressure point, one turn, and one ending that land on the reader. So cramming a novel into 5 pages is like stuffing a mattress into a purse. Ambitious, but not elegant. So the 5 essential part of a short story. First, your character. And we all know that a story is a story. If you don't fall in love with the character inside your story, it just stays a story. So the character is one of the main part of a story. That short or long, your reader has to fall in love with something, and normally it's the character. Next is a place, a grounded setting. So the third part is the pressure, the squeeze that forces action. And then we have a turn, a shift that they understand. And finally, the image, a line, a choice, or a feeling that stays. So don't make the story bigger, make it sharper. So a short story is the main point is to make it sharper. You want everything to be concise, remove the fluff, but you want it to be easy to read. I'm losing my voice, just give me a second. Here we go. So, pick your shape. The story content menu. We have a 5-beat mini story, clean beginning, middle, and an end. We also have object story, concrete, emotional focus. And the last minute story, suspense, comedy, and urgency. Then we have those funky words that when I did my research inside Claude and Chat and Gemini, they came out with that quixotic, I cannot say it, contrast instead of conflict. The Raza story, mood first and emotional. And the voice story, a confession, rant, or apology. The single effect story, built to leave one final feelings. So when we read a book or we see a movie based on a book, we always come out of the movie theater with a feeling. If you go to Star Wars, a Star Wars movie, then you're going to have that feeling that the future is possible and you get that excitement. If you go see an Harry Potter, you feel like you can do magic coming out of the theater. These are the feeling that you want to keep your reader have when they read your book. If there's anything in the chat, Jeff, that's important, you let me know, okay? Because I see a 1, but I'm not sure what it is. All right, the same seeds, different reader, different promises. Depending on what you want to do, you can use the same seed for all 3 stories and play with it and make a very small story for children, a middle grade story, a teen, young adult story, and something for adult, depending on how you want to play with your short story. But today I'm going to show you a bit different story version that I play with, and I don't use the same seed. I basically have a seed per story, and I will show you how I work with that and make it a nice short story, middle story, young adult story, and adult story with the different level of wording and number of words inside of them. So far, so good. Any question?
Nothing in chat so far.
Perfect. All right, so a small story for children age 5 to 8. It's a story of wonder. So we lean into a clear language and strong images, gentle tension, then safety, repetition and rhythm, kindness, courage, and curiosity. So when we steer clear of heavy trauma or darkness, children don't need that. Abstract themes, they need something easy to understand. Complicate timeline, they won't be able to figure out a timeline jumping back and forth, it's too hard for them. Or over-explaining, that will put them to sleep. So an example of a tone that we can have for young children is Mia found a tiny blue box under the stair. It hummed like a sleepy bee. Simple, and I'll give you a clear image of a young girl looking under the stair, finding a little box, and you feel that the vibration in her hands from that box. When you go for middle grade, you want to lean into mystery, humor, friendship, fast pacing, and brave choice. Slight danger, never hopelessness. Big feeling, show through action. You want to stay away from slow opening because they're easily getting bored. Adult cynicism, dense backstory, or overly romantic focus. This is not very good for middle grade. You stay away from that. The example of a tone is Haley wasn't snooping. He was investigating, a real difference, especially when the coat had been whispering his name for 3 days. So there's a bit of mystery. A young person who's snooping, he says he's not, and is going to go investigating. They love that investigation part of middle grade story. Now, teen and young adult. These stories have the tendency to go into a strong, honest voice, identity, secret, and belonging. So they want to know where they belong. They are building their life. So they're looking for book or stories that will help them going through their life in this part here. It is emotional intensity and stakes, so it has to be clear also. The first big choice and inner conflict. That's what we lean into for that section of people. Stay away from talking down to the readers. The teenager doesn't like to be talked down. Fake teen slang. Make sure that if you write a book, depending on the era of the book, that you have the proper slang for that era. And if you write for book for children of today, the teen and the young adult, then make sure you have the slang of today. Moralizing, they don't like that. And adults solving everything. Well, we all know what teenagers do about that. Example of the tone. So I knew the box was trouble the second I saw my name scratched into the lid. Not written, not scratched, like someone did it in a hurry before they disappeared. So this is the kind of tone you want for teenager and young adult. Now for adult, we're going to lean into subtext overstatement, memory, desire, regret, moral complexity and layering, earn consequences. What to stay away from. They don't like over-explanation of emotion either. You want to bring them into the emotion, but not over-explain it. They don't like predictable ending, so they like surprise. They don't like flat character. They want someone with life and that they can feel that they like to meet that person. The generic emotional beats. So an example of that tone here, and we're still with the same seeds here. The book was still under the stairs, exactly where her mother said it would be, waiting with the patience of things that outlive the people who hide them or hide the box. So that gives you example of all the level of story for these people. Now, the 5 audience level, we have the voice, vocabulary, pacing, emotional depth, and the theme. So the voice is who's telling it and how do they sound. The vocabulary, depending on them, simple for children, advanced for more advanced people, symbolic, or emotional. So ask yourself these questions when you do write your story, no matter which level it is. The pacing, how fast does the story move? Emotional depth, how deeply do we explore the feeling? And the theme, what is the story really about? No matter which one of the level of story you're writing in a short story for the people, the children, the teen, the adult, these questions should be answered. All right, find the code, Let's get into what we're going to do today. I'm going to bring you inside Sudowrite right now, and we're going to start to have some fun. Let's change my screen. Desktop number 1. Share. All right. So make sure I get the right sharing. All right. So this is what I share with you over here, the quick start short story with Sudowrite. Here we have the slide that we just saw. So you can click on it and you can look at it back and forth if you miss anything. The PDF, here is a little cheat sheet. Let's see if I can open it. Why doesn't let me open it? Script. This is a masterclass. That's this. Okay, it doesn't let me. Is anyone having problem to opening the PDF file? Ah, there it is, finally. Okay, this is your little cheat sheet that you can follow for all version of we just read here. So I got that for you, a small cheat sheet that you can play with and print it out and have it near your desk when you are actually writing those short story. Perfect. Okay. And here's our master notes for today. Perfect. Have it twice. All right. So here's an example a bit of what we can do or what do we have when we go, this is not the right one, this is the right one. How we go about having those short story. How many words is a short story? You can have a 6-word story, obviously 6 words. A dribble, which is 100 words. A microfiction, which is 100 to 300 words. A flash fiction, which is between 500 and 1,000 words. A short story, which is 1,000 to 1,005, and a short story which is between 2 and 7,500. The story I'm writing right now in the Twinkle Big Dreams is basically the short story version that I'm using for those, and it's for middle grade stories, and you can find them on Amazon all the way to book 24. Still working on the rest of them, coming up very, very soon. Sorry. All right. Here we have the recommendation of the amount of words for all the different levels that I showed you earlier. So for children, it's between 150 and 400 words. For a strong story, you can go 300 to 1,000 words. Simple, concrete, imagine-driven, and emotionally safe. Middle grade, a classic exercise is 300 to 700 words. For a strong one is 800 to 2,500, which can include an adventure, humor, mystery, friendship, and clear stakes. The teenager version is 500 to 1,000 words for a class exercise target. But for a strong story, it's 1,500 to 5,000 words, with a strong voice, intensity, emotional, secret tensions. And adult, if you go in a class exercise, it's 500 to 1,500. But if you go with a strong short story target, it's 2,000 words to 7,500 words. So depending on what you ask or who you ask, what is a short story for different level, they have different answer. So just let you know this part, it's depending. So you can go and make your research on what you want to do. So here we have even more information on the children version, middle grade version, the teenager version, adult version, and then the best outline for those. So instead of going through all of this, let's do the real work inside Sudowrite, shall we? All right, we are inside Sudowrite. And do we have anyone which is brand new to Sudowrite, which is going to feel lost in going back and forth in Sudowrite? Or are we all very used to Sudowrite? You can put that in the chat, new or comfortable. Is everyone new or everyone is comfortable or half an hour?
Not seeing any chat responses yet. One that says comfortable. Mona says yes. So
Sudowrite.
Angela says new to Sudowrite. So
Okay. Perfect. Who else do we have? So Dan, J'aime la tour. Michelle, I know you're very good at it. Betty is comfortable. Michelle is fine. All right. So I will try to go not too slow, but not too fast. If I go too fast, please raise your hands and ask little question. But we can send you inside. I'm sure, Jeff, you can go inside Discord and find the class for starting people to go around Sudowrite, so she can actually go back after and says, that's what she meant. So you can stay with us and enjoy the session anyway, because you're going to understand what I'm saying. It's just maybe the back and forth might get you a bit dizzy, but I'll try my best. So here I am inside a document. And for what I'm saying this here is when you go home, we have those big envelope, and inside those envelope, we have our project, and inside our project, we have our books. So today I did start a short story class envelope, and I'm going to go from each and every one of those and show you the difference. So by clicking on it, and if you want to create, you just click on the new here, and you can get those envelope, the folder, and the project inside of it. So let's start with the young children, shall we? So young children, very, very easy to work inside Sudowrite. You're going to see here, I have little notes inside my project. It says, okay, young children, the genre is 300 to 1,000 words. It's a picture book or a very early reader. In the style, simple sentence, repetition, gentle conflict, wonder and imagination, safe emotional experience. So here what that looks like. Inside my brain dump, I simply say, I'm writing a story for the age 4 to 7. This is the word count. And you know how hard it is to have Sudowrite to stay, or an AI to stay in those word count. So I will show you the difference, because we cannot work those stories the same way for every single one of them. You have to have a workflow, a different workflow for each. So this one has a different workflow than the other one. So let's see if you can keep up on that. So here we're going to use simple vocabulary, short sentence, gentle humor, and a warm magical tone. The story, so I'm telling what the story is about. The story is about a small bunny who discover a glowing golden key that open a tiny hidden fairy door inside a tree. So the focus is on wonder, friendship, curiosity, and happy ending. Use vivid imagery, appropriate for young children, and avoid scary or intense scenes. It has to be ready. Readability should feel like a bedtime story parents would enjoy reading aloud. A little bunny, again, glowing key, mushroom, so it's giving a bit more information about the story. So this information I copy and paste. The one on top here, sorry, I got to say it's that one here, the genre. I put it in my genre box. Not the same genre we used to see when we say I'm doing a romantic thing or a book for babies. So I just put the number of words in my genre and I say this is a picture book or a very early reader book. In the style, it's different too. In my style, I just says I want simple sentence, repetition, because kids like repetition at that age, gentle conflict, wonder and imagination, safe and emotional experience. That's it. And all I did with this is I generate a synopsis. Now, this is the story inside the synopsis, 510 words. This is our story right here. We don't have to go in the character. We don't have to go in the world building. We don't have to go in the outline. Not for that kind of story. So here, I will take my synopsis, put it in a new project. So I click here and I click for a new blank document. I brought my information in my synopsis right here, 510 words. I got a title. I can play with the titles. And now I can read my story and say if I like it or not, change it, and chat with chat. So in the saving of time, now I'm going to do something that I like to do also. I'm going to take the, I think it's left 400 words we can use. Yeah, over 400, almost how many words we can take to get visualized. Visualize, change again. We have more words than 300. I'm checking when visualize is going to stop. So it's stopping at 500 words. Let me guess. Yeah, 500 words. So visualize is when you want to have a picture of your story. So 500 words you can highlight in your story or part of the story. You click on visualize and you get a picture that you can put inside or on top of your book. And those images, like the story, are yours. And there is no copyright infringement or anything like that in case you have that question in mind. Everything in Sudowrite is yours, including the image. And this is the image we have for that very short story. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to share that story with you. I'm going to put it in the chat. See, in the chat, we have a couple of questions. Study hall. I missed something. Where then the synopsis come from? Yeah, no problem, Michelle. I will show you how I do that. So the synopsis, because the synopsis is created from the brain dump. So everything above the synopsis, the brain dump, the genre, and the style will create your synopsis. So if you put in the brain dump what you want to write about, is going to go inside the synopsis. So in the synopsis, in the middle of a bright green forest, is telling you the story because this is what I put down in my brain dump. So what I did simply, how would I do that? Because I don't want to redo everything. I just click on generate synopsis and it gave me the short story. All right. If I do every single step, we're going to spend too much time on that. Does that answer your question? Is that clear enough? All right. Next, this is it for the short story or the little book story for young children age 4 to 7. Nothing else. This is your story right there. Let's go back here. And I'm going to show you now for the age 4 7. So which one is this one? This one is 7 to 9. So middle grade 7 to 9. So another short story. And this one, you already see that I work on this one. We have a different cover for this one. So here what I did. Same thing than earlier, my brain dump. I said, this is what we're going to write about. Two best friends discover a hidden hallway in their school using a mysterious skeleton key. I want to write a humorous middle grade short story for the age 7 to 9. The word count, about 2,000 to 3,000 words. The story followed two curious kids who discover a mysterious key hidden inside their school library. The key unlocks a secret hallway no student has been before. Use fun dialogue, light suspense, magical discovery, energetic pacing. The tone should feel adventurous, funny, imaginative, and emotionally warm, and avoid heavy romance, graphic violence, or overly complex emotional themes. Is the field is blank, there will be a generate synopsis button. Yes, exactly like that, Morgan. So she answered your question how it goes. See, if I have enough time at the end of the session, I will show you how to generate another one and we can do it together. Just for the sake of it, we're already at 29 and I want to cover all of them and then we can practice for one to show you all the steps. Next, this is my brain dump. I told what I want. Now, my genre, same thing than earlier. My genre is a children, early middle grade, age 7 to 9. The word target, 1,000 to 5,000 words. The style, this is adventure, humor, clear stake, fast pacing, related kids emotion. I create a synopsis from this. Okay, this one is different. What I did, because you can see here, there's no character, no world building, no outline, but I did get 1,263 words story. So what I did with this one, got to close a few things here. Just give me a second. Okay. This is annoying. When I did arrive to the synopsis, I did ask to generate the synopsis the same way. The little button that says generate synopsis, I says, yes, please generate the synopsis. What happened when I generate the synopsis? He says, I've generated the synopsis. And I said, can you please generate all the characters? So before I generate your cast, pick now a large, pick how large this pass should be. So it's giving me a few questions. I answered this one. So how many characters on the sheet should I have? So I says, I have no preference. He says, I did not catch the whole number between 1 to 14. So he says, I still need the numbers. I says, okay, I just want a cast. You know, it's like, why are you asking me all those questions? So I'll go to the next one here. Now, this one here, let me go back up. I says, okay, now you are asking me question that I don't need the answer from. So you remember what I put down in my brain dump? To humorous, middle grade, I said simply this part here, write this part, and I put it inside the chat. But not just the chat. I did go with allow this. So I took this part and I bring it inside the chat over here. I really wish we don't have all these things when we try to show up. And then he says, okay. So he went and did what I asked for, and he came out with the story here. So instead of getting the whole thing generated inside the synopsis like this, because the synopsis is short. So he did generate a very short synopsis. When I didn't like what he gave me, that's when I said, okay, let's go inside the chat and ask for what I want. And then from here, it wrote the story I was looking for the middle grade short story. And from there, it says, yep, that's what I'm looking for. I don't need anything else. I says, please insert. Now, one thing I like to bring you to is the chat has a tendency to keep in memory what you wrote earlier. So as you can see here, I write in French. So it's basically giving me the information in French. And it's asking me if I want to accept that. I said, oh, wait a sec, I don't want that. I want everything in English. So here's giving me also my character cast. Finally gave it to me, but it says, oh, not in French. So if that happened to you, go in that little gear inside the chat box. Check what you have here in your preference, but in the advanced, it keeps in memory what it asked you in question, and when you said yes to something, it brings it here. So for me, when I was earlier, it says, please communicate in French only. That was that. And I says, no, please answer me in English right now because I don't need the French one. So I deleted the French one and says, please communicate in English only. And that stays here in the preference of Sudowrite. This is right here. That's to answer you, Mona, that little gear. So when you are in chat, where you can ask a lot of questions and do a lot of change back and forth, you can write a whole story inside the chat. But that little gear icon is the personalization of your chat. And that's where you go in and you says, okay, I want friendly answer, straightforward answer, or professional. I want concise, balanced, or detailed. And if you want more, that's where the more goes. And if you want even more, for me, I was teaching with my friend there. So she says, I really like Mr. Spock, and she gave me that here. And says, oh, I think I like it. I will try that too. So you speak like Mr. Spock, logical, precise, and matter of fact. You deliver often carries subtle shades of deepened snark and witty wit or dry wit. So that's why some of my answer might not be the same than you, because I personalized my chat. Good. All right. So here we got our cast that he finally gave us our cast when we did ask here, please give me my cast. And he says, so I just want the basic cast. I don't want anything very complicated. So he finally gave me my cast. And after that, when I said accept all the change, he gave me also my full story. So we have Mia, Toby, Miss Lynn, Mr. Carter, Hector, Jasmine, the principal, the nurse, and we go. So we have a full cast, and he based it on the synopsis that he wrote. And from all the demand I did here, he wrote this. So I got 8,263 words. And from there, I did ask to have a picture, which I really like because it's really, I don't know how to describe that. It's really nice pictures. And from here, you can go and play with all your laser button. You can change it. You can chat with chat and says, okay, there's a few things missing, or please look at the story and make it a bit more intense for children. Make sure you tell them what the age and all that. But this is how I got 8,263 story. Very basic information inside Sudowrite to get to this point. And I'm not sure if I can see all the credit I used today because I did all that this morning. So the chat cost 0. Generate the cast cost 32,495 credit. The other chat cost 0. The classification of the genre 0. Visualization is always 2,500 credit. Again, classification of the genre 0. The draft, which is the story on top, is 12,000, if I have just the right one here. But these are all the story we work on from this morning. So today I basically 22, 12, 9, 12, 4, 12, 2, 32. And I created basically 4 different story for this session with all those credits. Now, let's go to the middle grade, age 8 to 12. Now we have, you can see the difference between the number of words, 533 words, 1,263 words, 15,000 words. And when you go for adult, and only on chapter 2, it's 4,783 words. This one is not finished. So let's go see the middle grade. All right, middle grade. We're going to go in the Story Bible, brain dump. So the brain dump here, basically I tell the brain dump this is a middle grade 8 to 12. You can change the number for the age if you want. I find out that a lot of the story I write for middle grade, when I put the age 12 and I keep the age low, it does write better than if I put 7 to 16, by example. So it's too much of a range, but 8 to 12, it gives you a very nice story. Is the typical word count 5,000 to 20,000 words is a normal middle grade short story. What the middle grade like? Identity, friendship, courage, mystery, emotional growth. An example of story that we can have. So a group of kids accidentally unlock an ancient magical archive beneath their town. Here's the prompt for Sudowrite that we're going to use a bit later. Write a middle grade fantasy adventure story for age 8 to 12. The target words, again, I repeat. And then, did I have a different number? Yeah, here's 5 to 20, and here it's 8 to 12. So I probably could have fixed it and make it the same, but the result is still pretty good no matter what. So sometimes just double check your words count. I'm using Sudowrite, and it's all the Story Bible I'm playing with right now. So there is no model by itself. When I get into the pros, I will show you the model. I basically use the excellent model that they have right now inside Sudowrite. Next, the story begins when 4 kids discover a hidden underground archive beneath their town using an ancient silver key. The archive contains magical books that react to emotion and memory. Use a witty narrative voice, strong friendship dynamic, fast pacing, mystery, humor, and emotional warmth. The theme should include bravery, teamwork, curiosity, and self-discovery. Keep the tone exciting and magical while remaining appropriately for the middle grade readers. These are very, very important information for writing middle grade story, I can tell you that. Next, our genre, very short and simple, middle grade age, 8 to 12. The number of words, 5,000 to 20,000 words. Style again, very dry style. Identity, friendship, courage, mystery, and emotional growth. I create a synopsis. So from all the above, I just click create synopsis. When it goes on this side here, when you create your synopsis, it's giving you all kind of questions. Again, I have these things in my way. Where it's asking you the cast, how many people do you want? So when I ask for this synopsis, I simply ask for a basic synopsis. I don't want anything crazy, just a synopsis based on what's above. So it gave me 375 word synopsis. Just create a small idea of the story that we ask about. Just a couple of sentences become this. He knows how many words I want, so we got to that. Next, we did ask for our character. So basically I say generate the character, and that's where he says, okay, how many character do you want? And I says, this is really annoying for me because I'm used to just click character, and it goes and it creates the character based on the synopsis up here. And he's asking me, how many character do you want? 1 to 14 character, blah, blah, blah. I says, I just want the normal one. So I says, I have no preference. I want the default. And he finally give me my character. In the character, when you work on middle grade stories, make sure you look at this. Is it a she or a he? Because we have a couple of stories where Alex, Max are not a he or a she, they are a they or a them or a their. So make sure that you have the proper pronouns for the name in your story. I cannot tell you how many times I got beta or alpha readers and my editor reading the story says, why do you have a them? Can you not give it a proper gender? So I said, yep, I can do that. Now we can rewrite those gender with Sudowrite. So that's a good thing, I tell you that. But yes, make sure for children that you put the proper, unless you want something specifically with they and them. But for other people, they really want to have the proper gender in their story. I have a lot of negative feedback when we have the double gender. So we have our cast, and then I didn't ask for my world building. So you can see here, my world building is empty. Why did I bring it and leave it empty? So the story doesn't get too long. When the world building is very, very full and have a lot of information, the AI will go and extend the story at a point there you're losing control over it. So without the world building, because my character and my information inside my synopsis has enough information to create a short story. Sorry, I tried to find the top of this to close it down. Here we go, the archivist. So I have enough information here to create my story with the character information, which my character information have extensive information, their personality, their skills, the relationship to the protagonist, the role in the story, the relationship to the antagonist, how the characters speak, expand, make, and real in personality, the Mayor Brig, the description expands in a novel, and so on and so forth, depending of who they are. So the supporting one, if you go to the protagonist one, you're going to have even more information. Dialogue, anagram, sexual orientation, character voice, who are they, human or not? The archetype, are they wounded in the past hurt, their age, and so on. So you can see the difference between a sport character and one of the main character has a lot of information in it. So this is why it's different for this middle grade story. The world building, I go over it. Then I did go inside my chat and it says, hey, can you please tell me which one of the Sudowrite outline is good to create a middle grade story? Back and forth with the chat. He's giving me all kind of information about of what I was looking for. So where did I get this? Voulez-vous saisir la tada? Ça c'est in French. Mémoire, synopsis, open document, generate for main character, create da da da. The outline right here. It says create a structure outline for 8 to 12,000 words. Then it's telling me about the world building. So I could go and ask for the world building if I wanted to. So then it says please update the character. Done that. Update the character outline. The outline. Can you review that? I got it. Should I add any? So where is my answer? That's the one thing. It's very hard to get everything we wrote. All right, so clarification, the project already scoped a short story novella across and give me a scenario. I still don't have, that's not what I'm looking for. It says, I need to know how to create that book. Again, short story novella, and then it's giving me scenarios and so on. So at some point, I finally got it to let me know that the story should be Save the Cat. And Save the Cat, if we go into a blank one, it's the Hollywood Beats is Save the Cat. That's finally, please create my outline based on Save the Cat. So we have 13 chapter, I believe, 12 on the hero's journeys, the beat one, Save the Cat. So you create these. Now, this, you want it to be written in one shot. Because if I go one by one, so if I go here and I say +1 and go create chapter 1, you go, it's link it, connect it, you don't need to connect it, add the scenes, then you go and generate your scene. So here, for the new person at Sudowrite, this is where we write chapter by chapter or the whole book in one go. If we go that way, we're going to have a longer story because when you generate your scene from chapter 1, even though it's one little paragraph, it's going to give me a few scenes here. Let it go and do the work. In the meantime, during is doing this, do we have any question?
Mono's asking, how do you write the story in one go?
And I'm going to show you that right after I'm showing you the difference between the two. And you think, I believe, I'm going to also show you this part here. Now, can I touch it? And this will still ongoing. Yeah, I cannot touch it. I try to click, but it doesn't work. When he's doing this work, he doesn't want to do anything else. Just hold on a little bit. It's going to give me my scenes. During is doing that. There you go. So as you can see, my little paragraph of chapter 1 is this. My scenes are much longer, much longer. So it's going to be hard to keep it under 8,000 words or even 5,000 words with those big scenes like that. If I was to keep on going with this, I could ask the chat over here what's the best way to write this chapter. I like to do that often with a story, which I'm not the one who create them because I create them with the Sudowrite, so I don't know. I haven't read everything, so sometimes I ask the chat here, how should I tell the extra instruction how to write it? If you know how to write it, you just click on it and you put your information here. It says, please write it with a child voice, and it's going to write it with a child voice. You can ask for the third person or all those choice. Whatever the one you're going to choose, you can also go to the auto and say whose POV is that chapter and the tense. So for this one, I can ask question to the chat, what is the best POV and what the best tense and what should be the extra instruction. So just for the fun of it, quickly we'll ask that. What should I give the AI to write the first chapter for the children to read and ask for more? Plus, what is the best POV and tense? Those are the main question I would ask chat. And we know that a lot of people is using chat, so that's why it's a little bit slow these days. And this is why we create everything in advance, because it takes way too long to teach in 1 hour class. All right, so it's telling me here, the POV, the tense recommended for the middle grade. The third person limited past tense is optimal for this category. So third person POV, past tense. Especially recommended to rotating third person limited. Third person limited. With Clara as the primary viewpoint. So in the POV, we're going to click on Clara. And then we look at what he says here. So what provide chapter 1? Key details for kids, setting, discovery, guidance, and prompt. It's giving me a prompt over here, guidance prompt for writing button. So let's see. I'm going to copy that prompt because we cannot read all of it. And I'm going to bring it inside the extra instruction. It's a pretty long prompt. So write chapter 1, opening scenes for bored kids on a swirling summer afternoon. Clara backyard complained, with ending Riley quiet observation, Max eagerness for the adventure, include sensory details. So it's giving me the extra instruction to write chapter 1. And here you have the choice also of what to choose. I love Sonnet 4.6 because he really listened to the extra instruction. But for the point of this session here, I'm going to use that ballad, which is the new excellence from Sudowrite. And I'm just going to click plan the draft. And you're going to see the number of words it's going to give me. And I'm not going to write chapter 1, it's going to be too long. So it says the estimate amount of words will be 2,000 to 3,000 words. We have 12 chapters. So if all the chapters are 2,000 to 3,000 words, we're going to have a much bigger short story than we want. It's too long. So that's the reason why I don't go this way. But if you want to do a bigger story for older kids, then you can go that way. Now, if I want to write it in one shot, this is how I do it. So the outline, this is the full outline over here inside my scenes. How I do that? I go to my outline, go to the 3 dots beside the outline, copy your outline. You can change this if you want, or you can wait when you are inside the outline itself. But as you can see, I did ask the question earlier, and third person POV, Clara, past tense, was what he told me already. So I already knew that answer. So basically, copy your outline, go to an untitled one, which is totally empty, like this one here. should be empty. No, that's the first version. So when you pass it through, I kept it there for you to see, it's going to look like that. Act 1, Chapter 1, Clara, Chapter 2, da 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 da. You don't want this like that. If you leave it like that, you're going to have something way too big and it's going to be very slightly messed up. So what you want to do, you want to bring these back like this and clean it. And if you click on the name, you're going to go to the name. So if you go and click on one of the words on the line, it's going to bring you to the world building. So you go like this. So this is Chapter 1, Act 1. So that's going to look like at the end. So Act 1, Chapter 2. So Act 1, Chapter 1, Act 2, Chapter 3, 2, 3, Act 2, Chapter 4, 5, 6, 7. So you end up with 12 chapter or 12 big scenes. From here, I did not ask for any instruction. I put excellence and I said generate. And everything got generated on the side. This story got generated in one go. And if you want to make sure you have all your story and all your scene written, go to the little find and replace, write the word scene, and you're going to see 13 scene. You just go scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 is inside the chapter, like this one here. So you know it's not a scene, but it's a word inside the scene. 9, 10, 11, 12. You have all your scene written properly. We have 15,294 words. The story was written as a short story, middle grade, in one go. And I'm going to, I believe that's the one. To go back to the top. There you go. That's not the one I put the image. Now, this is that. And then you probably wonder, how did you get that cute image? I went inside my story and I highlight the 500 first. No, that's not what I did with this one. I asked for an image. It should be somewhere here. Let's go to I asked for, on this side here, I did ask chat to give me an image that represents the story. And he gave me this detailed image prompt for AI generator, middle grade book, cover, vertical orientation, center position, 4 diverse children aged 10 to 12, standing at the mossy stone rim, da da da. What I did is I simply highlighted this part here, and I went visualize. And this is the image he gave me for that story. And my story is obviously over here. So you can basically take your story, bring it inside. For me, it goes inside Vellum. I put my image on top. I do my correction here or inside Vellum. And then I'm ready to work the rest of my story and edit it, listen to it, and make all my changes. So this is how we do a middle grade story, about 15,000 words. So that answered the question on one story in all one go. So next, teen to young adult.
Manon, Mona said, missed that the first step. You're taking the outline and using that outline as your scene instructions. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, so Mona, that's how she did it all in one go, is taking the full outline and then putting it into a single scene instructions box there in Graft. And that's what generated it all in one go.
That's what I was showing you here. So if you bring it in one go, this is what it's going to look like. Chapter 1, the bedroom cure. So if you bring it in from the outline, you go in your 3 dots, copy your outline. When you copy your outline, It's exactly what is going to look like inside the scene box. And that's why I said, please fix it, that you have only the 12 chapters. So you just take your Act 1 with the title and Chapter 1, and you make it as a nice small paragraph, Chapter 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And these become your scenes. But the AI is intelligent enough to understand this is a chapter, this is a short story, and it's going to write you a short story. And instead of chapter, you're going to see scene. And what I like to do with this, you can also go back and get your scene or your chapter title and bring them on top here. So when I go inside my information, I normally go things like this. It doesn't copy for some reason. Act 1. And that's Chapter 1. So Chapter 1. The bedroom cure. And here we know that's scene 1, but it's Act 1, the discovery. And I'd go like this. Oh, that's right there too. So I guess it did show up. Oh, I think I copy everything. I lost my story. It went. Okay, when I pass the whole outline on top of my story. Okay, so basically all my titles are here. So basically all you have to do is to go and fix them inside your story. Okay, let's go to the next middle grade teen. That's the one here, right? Yeah. Okay, now we go for a novella or something much bigger. Now we go chapter by chapter. So this one is different because now we're talking teen and young adult. And for adult, we will go about the same direction too. So here, we start with nothing. We go in our story Bible. In our story Bible, same thing. In the story Bible, I'm telling the AI, I'm working on a teen story, young adult age, 13 to 18 years old. This number of words should be between 15 to 60,000 words, and short novella often between 15 to 30K. We work on the identity, emotional intensity, belonging, romance, inner conflict. Now I know we are at the top of the hour. I'm going to keep going and show this. And if you really have to go, I understand. The video will be on the Discord. You're going to receive also an email asking you how the class was. So please let me know how the class was. I love those 5 stars with a few sentences of what you like and like what you like to see in the following classes. And on this, I say thank you, and I'm going to keep going and finish that part of it. And then I will close the Zoom or ask you if you have more questions outside this session on top of it. So thank you for showing up and stay with me as long as you did so far. So I'm going to keep on going now. All right, teen, we work on identity, emotional intensity, the belonging, the romance. Now we talk romance, inner conflict, and the independence. Obviously, teen and young adult, this is all things that they are working on. So books they read, it's something which bring them into what they are living or help them into crossing things that they are working inside of. So a teenager girl unlocked a hidden door connected to an underground society that has been watching her for years. Write a young adult fantasy mystery story for reader age 13 to 18. The word target is 20 to 30,000 words. So some of it is going back and forth on the words. So just know if you want to get bigger or smaller, but you can give it a target. So I like to give the AI the maximum target and also a middle target because we know the AI doesn't know how to count words. We did figure out that the credit was 1/4 of a word, or 1/2 or 3/3 of a word, or 2/3 of a word per credit. So it's not a credit is a word. So there's a little bit of mathematics in there. Next, the protagonist is a 16-year-old girl who discovers a strange antique key hidden among her late grandmother's belongings. The key unlocks a hidden door connected to a secret underground society that has been monitoring her family for generations. Use emotional depth. sharp dialogue, suspense, layered friendship, romantic tension, and themes of identity and belonging. The tone should feel cinematic. That make a very nice story, by the way, when you say you want something which is like a TV show kind of thing. Immersive, mysterious, and emotionally intense while remaining appropriately for the age of a young adult reader. Again, in a genre, short and simple, we tell it's a teen, young adult, the age, the number of words, minimum and maximum, and that's a short young adult novella, often letting you know what it is, often the number of words. The style, very simple again. I simply go identity, emotional intensity, belonging, romance, inner conflict, and independence. And from there, I did click on create the synopsis, the basic synopsis, and it gave me that 16 years old Lila feels like a stranger in her own life, struggling to find her place in the world after her grandmother's death. When she discovers an antique key hidden among her grandmother's belongings, she is drawn into a mystery that threatens everything she knows about herself. The key unlocks a hidden door, revealing an underground society that claimed to have been watching her family for generations. As Lila delves deeper, she uncovers secrets that blur the lines between friend and foe, leaving her questioning who she can trust. So that's a good start of a story in our synopsis. And from this, I did ask to create my cast, the basic cast, and it gave me all those people. There is a area where I did stop something. I'm not sure what I did here. I think I create a cast in a way, and this morning he answered a funny way. Let's see. Is that the one? No, that's not. So that's not the one who gave me a funny thing. It's the word building who's giving me that. But I didn't like that. He gave me Cass Alloway as a supporting one, and she or he doesn't have a proper pronouns. So this, if I was to write that full story, I would go and chat or read everything and says, okay, Cass should be a girl or Cass should be a boy, or if it's a special magical person, then it's the magical person, and see from there what I want to keep as a they or a them, or give them a proper pronouns. But right now, I don't want Sudowrite to look at it, so I put the I. So when I say the I, this one is open, this one is closed, which means Sudowrite will not look at it to write the story. And these eyes are pretty much everywhere inside Sudowrite in the boxes if you don't want Sudowrite to use part of it. So like this, you can say, I want you to look at her, but I don't want you to look at the scales. You don't want to look at the relationship. You can describe later in the story. You can turn it on or off. So those are why the eyes are over here. And this is why I put the eye here, because these are they or them. So I have to go and make sure that they belong to they or them, or give them a proper pronouns. After that, here's the world building. The world building gave me something similar when I asked inside the chat under the allow edit. It gave me something very, very bizarre. It gave me that. Unspecified, no physical description is provided in the author note. And it did that for every single one of them. So for what I did here, I simply took every single one of them, like the key. I copy the key and I go and add element and generate element. So I went and look what kind of element is the key. I generate in the custom, because the key is basically an item. I say it's not custom, it's an item. So I went and click item and I copy. This is the key I want you to do, and go. I'm not going to do it because it's going to keep the AI busy. I will see if I can turn it off though. When it's there, it doesn't want to come out. Okay. So for every one of them, he did that. So that's why there's an eye here, because it gave me that funky looking thing. So when I did the rewrite, basically the full generation, the way it's here, it gave me, okay, the small antique key that Lila find hidden among the grandmother belonging after her death. It has, hold on here, I got the problem with this. Why is it, okay. It has the worn, darkened patina of something very old with a bow. The loop grid end. Okay. Shape in an unusual pattern that doesn't match any of the standard lock style Lila recognized. So it gives us the information about that key. So every single one of them, I did that. I closed them that it was like assumed this one, and that was the one which was the most complete, was the hollow. It says, I assume it's a setting. So it's something I'm going to have to tell Sudowrite. I'm not sure what happened here, but the world building had these funky, unspecified items, and I had to redo every single one of them. But we got all of them redone. So the one which I don't want have an eye, and the one I want is open eye. So on this, I did go and ask what is the best one to use to write this story. I'm not sure if I can get this. Hollywood Beats. So I went in the chat and I says, listen, this is a story for young children. What is the best outline? So he gave me a long information, act 1, act 2, and I says, please give me the simple version that exists inside Sudowrite. And he said, I'm not able to look inside Sudowrite, but if I do, inside Sudowrite, you have the novel, this, and this. So he says, you should go with that, which is the Hollywood Beats right there. So it says, okay, let's go with the Hollywood Beats. So there you go, Hollywood Beats. I also ask for this, the people, that age group, and the style of story it is. What is the best way to write my outline? Is it the first, the third? Who's the main character who's supposed to sit and present, or what tense it is? And he told me that story should be first person, Lila POV at the present tense, because it will bring the teenager and the young adult into the story to feel the love, to feel the panic, to feel the story. It says, okay, so let's do that. So you can tell the difference between a young adult, middle grade, and the middle grade children and the middle grade adult, how big the chapter are becoming. We don't have a lot of information that we brought in inside our story Bible, but it did a lot of information because we gave it the world building, the character, the synopsis, and the information. So see, when we give a full world building, how much bigger your outline looks like. So from this, we're going to get chapter 1. So I did go chapter 1. And the chapter 1, why is not giving me my chapter 1 description? Interesting. Okay, normally it give me my chapter 1 with the little description beside it, but it didn't do it. Anyway, I asked for my scenes, very big scenes. And I did go in chat and I says, what's the best way to write chapter 1? What kind of extra instruction should I give you to write that story? And that's the information he gave me to write that chapter 1, so that the reader keep on reading. First person POV, Lila, present tense, and I kept the excellence, the new excellence that Sudowrite has, and I create the first chapter 1, which is 2,165 words. Try to see how many words we have here. They don't tell us how many words. I'm curious to see how many words we have in the chapter 1. We don't get this. We don't have the number. But chapter 1 is 2,000 words. Then I said, all right, I like chapter 1. You read all the chapter 1. So you create chapter 2 again. You go in your outline. Chapter 2, you create this way. You bring you to the top. Now you have chapter 2. And again, that's funny. It doesn't give me my, my little paragraph here. Generate my draft, generate my scenes. I have 2 big scenes. And I ask again, now we have chapter 2. How do we write it from the end of chapter 1 to chapter 2? Even though it is linked. First, it is linked to, it should be linked to the outline, chapter 2, in this continuity of chapter 1, and then the scenes. I do still ask how I should continue chapter 1 and write chapter 2, and then go into chapter 3. So I have my extra instruction here to help Sudowrite to write my chapter 2. And then with chapter 2, we have 2,618 words. And you keep on going this way. You read, you see if you like it. You want to do your change, you can go and get all your tools on top and apply your change. Once you're happy with it and you're ready to go to chapter 3, right at the bottom of your prose, the last words, you get done with that chapter. You say, yeah, chapter 3. You can start from here. And then you get chapter 3. And you see, we have something different. We don't see the start of chapter 3 like normal. But if you go in your outline, you can go back and check in your outline what's written here. Because normally we have part of this on top too. But for some reason, it's not there. So let me check if I go this way. If it's going to bring it up. No, it's still not here. So now we have 2 of them. I'm going to delete 1. And if you delete something by mistake, it goes in the trash in the bottom here. You click on the trash and you can reinstate them. Okay, chapter 3. Chapter 3 is here linked to inside the outline. It's also the following of chapter 2. And we're going to add our scenes. Generate scenes. And now we have our breakdown. Okay, the breakdown shows up only after we ask for that. Okay, my bad. And then we wait for our scene to be written, and you keep on asking chat what you want to ask. And then you can go forward. And at the end, if you count that we have, how many chapter we have here? We have 15 chapter. If they all 2,000 words to 3,000 words, so we get 30,000 words minimum story for that. And this is basically everything I could show you today in the amount of time we have. Do we have any question or anything that you want me to show you that you haven't understood?
Michelle has a question in chat for you.
Yeah, did Sudowrite limit the amount of dialogue in the early reader synopsis? Your first sample story, did he? No, it doesn't limit it. You can, inside your brain dump or your style, you could give example of what you're looking for. You can also say, I only want short dialogue. I don't want any dialogue tag. I want just dialogue and very little description between. You can do anything you want by just telling it inside the information you give. So what I mean by that, our young children's story. So in your brain dump, you can basically say, I want very dry things, sentence. I want very short. I only want dialogue with very little description. You can add that here or inside your style, and it should show up also inside your synopsis. So we have very little information here, or you copy your synopsis, bring it inside. I believe I put it in here. And from here, you can ask chat, can you make this even shorter and really each paragraph has an image to do a 20-page little book for children. You can do that too. There's so many ways to go about it. It's impossible to show you all of them. But just be simple and direct to the point with Sudowrite inside the chat of what you're looking for. I find out that shorter and easier is better. Do you ever use the Sudowrite generated image in published story? Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of my books that I wrote in the last 3 years for the middle grade, I take the image from Sudowrite that I create inside Sudowrite because they are my copyright. They belong to me, so I don't have any infringement with anything else. That's one of the guarantees of Sudowrite, which is very making writers at ease for that. The quality, no, it's not big enough. So what you do when you have an image that you want to use, you copy the image and bring it in a program like Canva. And in Canva, you can basically, you can transform your image, you can put your writing on top, you can do what you want, or even overlap different images on top of each other to create what you're looking for. And when you download that image, you have the choice to high definition and enlarge it and everything else inside the Canva, which give big enough to bring inside Vellum and have enough DPI to upload on KDP and other website. No, I don't have to enlarge it. In a way, yes, depending of what I do, because when you bring it inside Canva, they're always smaller to get inside the box, but then you just expand them inside the box. And Canva knows what we're doing because you can go in the choice of Canva. So I'm doing a book cover, you go under book cover. So Canva knows, okay, she goes under book cover, she's going to publish that book. So we need to do something with that image. And Canva is bright enough, intelligent enough to make it better for you. It's all done inside Canva. The enhancement and the gigapixel, it's all done inside Canva. You cannot do it from the image I got here. This image here, if I go in my visualize, when you go and save, it's going to bring you to this, which is not bad at all. But then you have to save that image. And from the save image, you go and bring it inside Canva. And that's where in Canva, you go and make it really what you're looking for. But this image, if you take this image, I don't know if someone else has a different way to go about it and copy it in a higher DPI. But for me, I just bring the image from here and I bring it inside Canva. And from Canva, I do work the image to my liking. And that's what I use in my books. You can use Canva for free, by the way. Yes, it's very cute, the little bunny. You're absolutely welcome. So I hope you guys have a lot of fun using these little prompt and the easy way to go around Sudowrite to write different level of words for different level of genre. Any more questions? So on this, I will say thank you very much for everything I showed you and all the questions and all the participation you had with me today. My name is Manon Doucet. I'm a teacher for Sudowrite, and I thank you, every one of you, and my co-host also. So thank you so much.
Twinkle, little moonbeam bright, dancing softly through the night, over rooftops, over trees, sailing on the gentle breeze. Little owl says, hoo, hoo, hoo. Moonbeam, may I dance with you? Round they spin above the ground, while Sleepy bunny shuts his eyes, dreaming under silver skies. Clouds roll by so soft and slow, rocking babies far below. Twinkle, little moonbeam, stay, guard us until break of day. When the morning sun appears, whisper softly in our ears. Close your eyes and rest tonight. You are safe till morning light. Sweet dreams, dear ones, sleepy night. Hold us in your silver